Think you know everything about Pablo Escobar? Think again. This dude was more than just a drug lord, he was a straight-up enigma. From his insane wealth to his bizarre pet collection, Escobar's life was like something out of a Hollywood movie. And today, we're diving deep into the dark and twisted world of Pablo Escobar, with 10 shocking facts that they definitely didn't teach you in school. We're talking about the stuff that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about this notorious kingpin. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more mind-blowing content. You don't want to miss what we've got coming up. Alright, let's talk about Escobar's zoo. I'm not talking about your average zoo with lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, this was next-level stuff. We're talking elephants, giraffes, you name it, this guy had it all. But the craziest part, the hippos. Yeah, you heard me right, hippos. Escobar smuggled in these massive creatures from Africa, and let me tell you, they were living the good life. Roaming around his sprawling estate like they owned the place. But here's the kicker. After Escobar's death, the hippos, well, they kind of just stayed. They escaped into the wild and started breeding like crazy. Now Colombia has this unexpected population of hippos just chilling out, causing all sorts of mayhem. It's insane! It's like something out of a weird, dark, ecological thriller. They're a real problem, but you gotta admit it's a pretty wild legacy to leave behind. I mean, who else can say they accidentally introduced a new species to a whole country? Now this is where things get really interesting. While Escobar was undoubtedly a ruthless criminal, responsible for countless deaths and unimaginable violence, he was also seen as a kind of folk hero by many poor Colombians. Think about it, you're living in poverty, struggling to survive, and suddenly this guy shows up throwing money around, building houses, soccer fields, even hospitals. To these people, Escobar was a savior, a symbol of hope in a world that had forgotten about them. He was like a modern-day Robin Hood, taking from the rich and giving to the poor. He understood the power of the people, and he knew how to manipulate that to his advantage. This Robin Hood image made him incredibly popular among certain segments of society. They loved him, they protected him, and they were willing to die for him. It's a complex and fascinating dynamic, and it speaks to the power of perception and the desperation that poverty can create. Let's talk about the real reason Pablo Escobar was so powerful, the money. This wasn't some small-time operation, we're talking about an empire built on cocaine. At his peak, Escobar was pulling in an estimated $420 million a week. That's more money than most people see in a lifetime every single week. Think about the logistics of that, the sheer volume of cocaine being moved, the bribes, the violence, all to keep that cash flowing. It's mind-boggling. They say he had so much cash he had to write off 10% of it every year just because rats were eating it in the warehouses where he hid it. This wasn't just drug money, it was power. Escobar could buy whoever he wanted, do whatever he wanted. He was basically untouchable. Chapter 4. So, Escobar's in prison, right? But this isn't your average jail cell. We're talking about a luxurious prison built by Escobar himself, with a nightclub, a jacuzzi, the works. It was basically a party house, and he was the host with the most. But even in his custom-made paradise, Escobar knew it wasn't true freedom, so he did what any self-respecting drug lord would do. He planned an escape. And not just any escape, we're talking next-level Hollywood-style breakout. He had a network of tunnels dug underneath the prison leading to the outside world. And to make sure he could make a clean getaway, he had a private plane standing by, ready to whisk him away to safety. The audacity of this guy, it's just incredible. It's like he was playing a real-life game of Grand Theft Auto, except the stakes were way higher. Chapter 5. Let's take a little trip to Escobar's infamous estate, Hacienda Nápoles. Now this wasn't just some rich dude's mansion, this place was on another level. We're talking a sprawling estate with a private airport, a bull ring, even a dinosaur park. This guy spared no expense. Imagine parties with the world's most dangerous criminals, fueled by endless cocaine and cash. It was like a scene out of Scarface, but on a much grander scale. But beneath the surface of this opulent facade was a dark underbelly. Hacienda Nápoles was more than just a playground. It was a symbol of Escobar's power and ruthlessness. It was a reminder to everyone who entered its gates. This is what happens when you cross Pablo Escobar. Chapter 6. Now this is where things get really wild. You wouldn't think a ruthless drug lord would be interested in politics, but Escobar was different. He craved legitimacy. He wanted to be seen as more than just a criminal. So, what did he do? He ran for office, of course. And not just any office, he set his sights on the Colombian Congress. And guess what? He won! This guy, the head of the Medellin cartel, responsible for countless deaths, was now a legitimate politician. It's almost unbelievable. He used his ill-gotten gains to fund social programs, build houses for the poor, all while running his cocaine empire behind the scenes. It was a brilliant, albeit incredibly corrupt strategy. He was playing both sides, manipulating the system to his advantage. Chapter 7. Let's talk about the Medellin cartel, one of the most powerful and ruthless criminal organizations in history. And at the head of this cocaine hydra was Pablo Escobar. Under his leadership, the cartel smuggled tons of cocaine into the United States, making billions of dollars and leaving a trail of blood and destruction in their wake. They controlled everything: the production, the transportation, the distribution. They were an unstoppable force, fueled by greed and violence. Governments were powerless to stop them, and those who dared to challenge them often met a gruesome end. Escobar was a master strategist, a ruthless businessman, and a charismatic leader who inspired both loyalty and fear. He was like a dark CEO running his criminal enterprise with ruthless efficiency. By the early 1990s, the walls were closing in on Escobar. The Colombian government, aided by the United States, was determined to bring him down. The manhunt was intense, a desperate game of cat and mouse played out on the streets of Medellin. Escobar, always one step ahead, was constantly on the move, hiding in plain sight, protected by his loyal followers. But even the most cunning criminal can't outrun justice forever. On December 2, 1993, Escobar's reign of terror came to an end on a rooftop in Medellin. The details are still debated, but one thing is for sure: the kingpin was dead. Some say he went down in a blaze of glory, others believe he took his own life rather than be captured. Whatever the truth may be, Escobar's death marked the end of an era. In the aftermath of Escobar's death, his family was left to pick up the pieces. His wife, Tata, and his children, Juan Pablo and Manuela, were forced to flee Colombia and start new lives under assumed identities. Juan Pablo, now known as Sebastian Marroquin, has spoken out against his father's legacy, advocating for peace and reconciliation. He's become an architect, a far cry from his father's world of violence and crime. Manuela, on the other hand, has remained largely out of the public eye, choosing to live a quiet life away from the shadow of her father's infamy. Escobar's death may have brought an end to his reign of terror, but the scars of his crimes continue to haunt his family and the countless lives he touched. Love him or hate him, there's no denying the impact Pablo Escobar had on the world. He became a legend, a symbol of both the allure and the devastating consequences of the drug trade. His story continues to fascinate and horrify, inspiring countless books, movies, and documentaries. But beyond the sensationalism, it's important to remember the real cost of Escobar's empire. The thousands of lives lost, the families torn apart, the corruption that still plagues Colombia today. Escobar's legacy is a cautionary tale, a reminder of the seductive power of greed and the devastating impact of violence. It's a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about poverty, inequality, and the war on drugs. And it's a story that continues to resonate today as the world grapples with the ongoing challenges of organized crime and the illicit drug trade. So there you have it, folks. 10 shocking facts about Pablo Escobar that probably made your jaw drop a few times. This guy was the real deal, a true criminal mastermind. But remember, behind the money and the power, there's a dark and tragic story that continues to impact the world today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content. We're always digging up the craziest, most unbelievable stories from history and beyond. See you next time.